Welcome to my YouTube channel. In last video we have discussed about ad hoc network. Today we are going to discuss routing protocols. During the last few decades, the use of ad hoc network have increased both theoretically and practically. Normally an ad hoc network is a collection of two or more devices equipped with wireless communication and networking. Now the question comes in mind, how to support ad hoc network? Then the answer is the routing protocol. The network topology in ad hoc network changes randomly. Routing protocol that find a path to be followed by data packets from source node to destination node. In traditional wired network, infrastructure is fixed, but in the case of established infrastructure is absent in the case of ad hoc network. Routing paths are created and deleted due to the nodal mobility. Now, there are few issues in the protocol. The very first issue is the mobility. The network topology in ad hoc network is highly dynamic due to movement of nodes. So routing protocol of ad hoc network must be able to perform efficient and effective bandwidth constraints. Abundant bandwidth is available in wired network due to advancement in the fibers. But in ad hoc network, due to limited band of radio data rates are less, so this require routing protocol to use bandwidth optimally by keeping the overhead as low as possible. Error prone shared broadcast radio channels. In wireless network, links have time varying characteristic in the term of capacity and error probability. So this requires network routing protocol interact with MAC layers to find out the alternate route for better quality link. There is the issue that hidden and exposed terminal problems. In this case, the hidden problem refers to the collision of packets at some nodes due to simultaneous transmission. Collision occurs when both nodes transmit packet at the same time without knowing the transmission of other. Solution for this type of problem is MAC. MAC means medium access collision avoidance, which will remove this problem. The exposed terminal problem refer to the inability of a node which is blocked due to transmission by a nearby transmitting node to transmit to another node. The another issue is the resource constraint. It is one of the important issues in routing protocol. Devices in ad hoc network require portability and hence size and weight are the major constraint. The two another major constraints in ad hoc network are battery life and power processing. Now let us see the characteristic of routing protocol. Distributed routing are most fault tolerance than centralized, which involves failure of single point of contact. Routing computation and maintenance is another important characteristic which involves less node. It must be loop free and free from state roots. This will offer support from time sensitive services. It must have minimum connection setup time. It must be localized as global state maintenance involves a huge state propagation control. It must converge to optimal route once the network topology becomes stable. The convergence must be quick and fast. It must optimally use scarce resources such as bandwidth, computing power, memory and battery power. The transmission should be reliable to reduce message losses. It will prevent the occurrence of stale routes. It must also be able to prevent certain level of quality of services as demanded by the application. Now, let us see the types of routing protocol. Proactive routing protocol. These are the protocol which maintain routes to all destination regardless of whether routes are needed or not needed. It is also known as table driven protocol. In order to maintain correct route information, a node must periodically send control message. Therefore, proactive routing protocol may waste bandwidth since control messages are sent unnecessarily when there is no data traffic. The main advantage of this category of protocol is that host can quickly obtain route information and quickly establish a session. The examples of this proactive routing protocols are GSR, which is known as Global State Routing, DSDV, Destination Sequence Destination Vector, WRP, Wireless Routing Protocol, etc. The second important type is reactive routing protocol. It is also known as on-demand routing protocol. These are the protocol which can dramatically reduce routing overhead because they do not need to search for and maintain the route on which there is no data traffic. This property is very appealing in the resource limited environment. Example of this category is DSR, Dynamic Source Routing, AODV, Ad hoc On Demand Distance Vector, etc. The third type of routing protocol is hybrid routing protocol. This type of protocol combines the proactive and reactive routing approaches. It divides the network into various routing zones. Best example of this hybrid routing protocol is ZBR, Zone Based Routing. ZBR proactively maintain the routes within the routing zones and reactively searches for routes to destinations beyond a node routing zone. Other type of hybrid routing protocol are TORA, Temporarily Ordered Routing Algorithm, SHARP, SHARP, Safari, etc. The another type of routing protocol are geographical routing protocol and routing with dynamic addresses. These are the two categories which are to be considered as according to the areas. If the areas are to be mentioned, then this is the type of routing protocol. On the basis of the hierarchical and flat routing protocol, we are having two type of the routing protocol. The example of this protocol are DART, Dynamic Address Routing. Now let us see the classification of routing protocol. On the basis of update mechanism, the routing protocols are classified into three types: proactive, reactive, and hybrid. On the basis of temporal information, the routing protocols are divided into two categories: past and future. On the basis of the network topology, the routing protocol are of two types, that is known as flat and hierarchical. Based on the resource, routing protocols are classified into two categories, that is power and geographical. The best examples for proactive routing protocol is GSR, Global State Routing, and reactive protocol is DSR, Dynamic Source Routing. For hybrid type routing protocol, The ZBR is the important protocol, zone based routing, and according to the flat and hierarchical, which is based on the topology, the best example are Tora and Sharp. Tora means temporarily ordered routing algorithm, and on the basis of resources utilization, that is power and geographical, the best example is DART, dynamic address routing. Now, Namaskar. In next video, we will discuss the various classification of routing such as GSR, DSR, etc. Namaste and Dhanyavad.